everybody. Good evening. It's Ellen Lewis from Crazy for You. And tonight we are talking about knitwear for your home. I remember when I was first getting married, and a lady from our church said, "Oh, tell me your colors. I'll knit you a blanket." And I remember thinking, "Oh, please don't." I had only ever seen really ghastly hand knit things that people had made, and I was terrified. But she actually made one of the most gorgeous blankets I had ever seen. It was a beautiful cream colored cabled blanket with fringe on the end, and it was absolutely lovely. And then I was embarrassed for having been so unpleasant about I actually didn't say anything to her. But I remember being pleasantly surprised. There definitely seems to be kind of, I think, a sense of knitting for your home that harkens for a lot of us those sort of unfortunate blankets that hang on the back of um, sofas and chairs in grandma's houses and everything. You know what I mean? Tell me in the comments if you know what I'm talking about or you have had that experience. Hi, Amelia. Hi, Dudley. Amelia and Valerie. My gosh, my brain is frazzled tonight, Amelia. Um, Gosh, it's nice to see you. So yeah, tell me in the comments if you've had that experience where, you were thinking that something was going to be really awful and it turned out to be really, really gorgeous. So I guess my point about making hand knits for the home is that they really can be lovely. And we've all seen some unfortunate examples on Ravelry, I think. But tonight, what I wanted to do is just to sort of show some of the looks that are trending in home deck that I see on different websites, and some of the ways that you can duplicate those sorts of looks for yourself. Because making a hand knit for your home is, first of all, it's a lot easier than making a sweater. It's certainly larger, but it doesn't have to fit, and your gauge is not so important. And it really does sort of show the world who you are, and it feels so cozy. And I think that it's trending because we're spending a lot more time at home these past 18 months. And it's right now it's getting cold. So it's such a nice thing to have a hand knit something. And if you're giving it as a gift, I think it's especially special for people because then they feel like they're wrapped in your love and your thoughtfulness when you make something for them. So, hey Norma, Gwen, it's nice to see you. Hey Jyoti, Terry, yes. Terry says she has a throw your mom made. Tell me, is it beautiful? Do you love it? Is it a treasure, or you just sort of hang on to it because she made it for you and it's the thought that counts and all that, right? Hey, Ellen, nice to see you. Okay, so I did do a little presentation for you, and it took me longer today because I tried to put all of the names of the patterns and the links on there so that you could get those afterwards. So let me go ahead and bring that up, and I'll share that with you. Okay, so knitting for your home, basically, I think anytime you have a hand knit in your home, it really does sort of make it cozy, and it's a statement about who you are. As a knitter, you have hand knits in your home, and people are like, "Wow, did you make that?" And I think that feels really cool. So I was looking, my favorite store is Restoration Hardware, and I was looking, and they have this beautiful hand knit throw. It's probably knit on US size 11s, and it's 80% wool, 20% acrylic, 60 by 80, so not overly huge. $509. That's pretty substantial. Comes in beautiful colors, but doesn't it give this sofa and that whole thing kind of a nice feel? I'm telling you right now, you could knit that for substantially less, and it would be every bit as beautiful. Very pretty, huh? Okay, so this is our house. This is a summer throw. It's a lightweight cotton. You can just see that it's a basic seed stitch. So Yeah. All right. Now I'm going to get Ellen up here. It says, yuck acrylic. It's not all acrylic. And I would say that some yarns do have some acrylic in it for a variety of reasons. One of them is to add strength. So sometimes we put a little acrylic in something, and sometimes, like with Barocco Vintage, it's put in there so that you can have make it machine washable. So here is West Elm, and Ellen pointed out, yes, that the Rowan Boucle would look great. You beat me to the punch on that, because that's exactly what I'm going to say would be absolutely perfect. Look at that. It's just exactly like the soft Boucle. So let's look at some blankets and throws. I think part of what happens when we see things hand knit is that maybe the color choice is a little unfortunate. But I think you're always going to do well with kind of a neutral, like we have here with this Twill Weave Runner, which is by Martin Story. These are both actually by Martin Story. Very pretty neutral tones. Amelia says, the Afghans my Grammy made us are simply enough that the pattern isn't a problem, but the colors are very of the time. Yes, absolutely. You're never going to get into that situation where something looks terribly dated if you go with a neutral. So that's why I've sort of shown some of these neutral tones. Valerie is asking, what is Premier acrylic? Gosh, Valerie, I'm not familiar with that yarn, so I really can't tell you. Again, some beautiful neutrals. Aren't those lovely? They're just timeless. And you could knit this now and it would still be lovely 100 years from now. So these are, again, both by Martin Story. He is the most wonderful designer of cabled things. I think these are absolutely lovely. This one with the fringe on the bottom is more like the one that Mrs. Mortimer made for me when I was getting married. So very, very pretty. Aren't they nice? Ellen comments that she has one of those in your car. Yeah, those are the ones that end up sadly getting put down in the dog's bed, and then the great aunt whoever is very sad that that her blanket's in the dog's bed. These are blankets that are not going to end up in the trunk of the car or the dog's bed. I think these are beautiful. These are both worked in Rowan yarns, and then like a neutral, you can have a solid. So when you sometimes it's the color combination that's really dated, as Amelia was pointing out. Harvest Gold and Olive are dated as a combination, but I think Harvest Gold is a beautiful color, and Olive continues to be a trending color. So sometimes it's the color combination that gets dated, and you're always safe going with a solid. These are all beautiful, and I will try to post a link to this presentation if you're interested, so that you can have the links to the various patterns in there. I think this is beautiful. This would be very, very fun to knit, and of course, I love that color. This is Cozy Cable Throw, and I'm pretty sure that is by This is by Martin Story. This is a very chunky kind of throw, very pretty and easy to do. And that would be timeless in, pretty much whatever color. Colors don't necessarily go out of style so much as color combinations do. Do you know what I mean? And then this is one that I featured. This is from the current Rowan magazine. They have a whole section in the Rowan magazine called Home. And this is a runner. They call it a runner because they've put it on like a harvest table, which I think is beautiful. But you could use that kind of at the base of a bed, or on the back of a sofa, or just fold it up and kind of thing that you can have double duty as a wrap for yourself. So those are really pretty. Who likes the solids? Who likes the neutrals? And do you get what I'm saying about the color combinations being the ones that sort of go in and out of style? Does that make sense? So texture. This is the soft boucle that I was talking about, that Ellen had mentioned, that beautiful texture that you don't have to do anything. You just knit this. You can knit it in stockinette. You can knit it in reverse stockinette. Actually, if you knit a blanket, you're knitting it if you knit it in stockinette, you're knitting it in reverse stockinette too. You just flip it over. And this yarn would be absolutely lovely. This is a close-up of that throw from West Elm. And you see that there's also a pillow done in the same yarn. Beautiful, easy. It would be gorgeous. Absolutely stunning. So texture is another aspect that I think is great for home deck, that makes it look really good. Oh, I'm missing something. I had another one. So when we get into multicolors, there's kind of two ways of looking at that. You can have a subtle multicolored, like even though this is a Noro, it's fairly subtle for Noro. This is a Kaffe Fassett design, and you can see the value of the colors in there are similar. So it's not like a super bright. It's not what I would call a vibrant. Same with this. This is a Noro that is called Tenon. It's discontinued now, but it's a gray, and then they have it with a purple. So the colors, it has colors, but it is more more subtle. Let's see what neutrals for you personally. Nibblings. Yeah. Yeah. I remember those that you knit for your nieces. They were absolutely beautiful. And you get, when you do two colors that are kind of a light and dark version of the same color, I think that's really pretty. I remember what you did. So sometimes you want vibrant, and maybe neutrals is not your vibe. And maybe this is more your vibe, but you can see that they've got these pops of colors and it's more intense. So what might that look like in an Afghan? Let's see. Ellen says, I like to make an ice cream blanket with a soft gray big stripe. Beautiful. Ellen, I think you have a future as a designer, actually. You should sketch that out and I'll help you pull some colors for it. That would be fun. All right, so what would that? So vibrant, of course, vibrant. We always think first of Kaffe Fassett and Brandon Mably. These are this is worked in Tarja. These both are just fun, bright colors, very playful. This is in Tarja. This is worked with a yarn they no longer make anymore, Colorscapes Chunky. It was a beautiful, beautiful yarn, kind of like a very subtle Noro, but again, in Tarja. And the colors are really playful and fun. I don't know that they would be going in and out of style because there are so many colors, in the way that I don't believe Noro kind of goes out of style. And who could talk about vibrant colors without sort of thinking and looking at Noro? This is the Water Lilies Afghan, and that's beautiful Nancy Dennis who knit that. Mary knit one of these too. And this is my dear friend Patty Teague who knit that heart blanket. It was originally designed for Kurion, but she did it in the rainbow colorway of Silk Garden, and then she used 269, which is the Silk Garden neutral, for the background. And it's just beautiful. When she brought it in the shop, it was just jaw-droppingly beautiful. She worked an edging around it too. It was so pretty. And this of course, is one colorway of Noro Ito worked in entrelac. And if you don't know how entrelac is done, each little square, it's all worked in one piece, but each little square is worked at a time. So you get little squares of color, which I think is really pretty in Noro. So this one is from the Noro Timeless Knit Blankets. This, I believe, is available on the website, and this is from the Curion 30th anniversary book. So both of those, very pretty. What else I have? More Noro. These are both taken actually in my house. So that's me with the Color Waves Afghan. I put these together because they are both worked with a technique. They're worked in strips, which makes it very nice for and portable for knitting. So this one is worked with a stockinette and a garter stitch and a basket weave, kind of alternated all the way up the strip, and then the strips are put together. And then this one is worked in a 1-by-1 ribbing, alternating multiple colors of Noro. So you have a striping of a striping. So each one, you do 2 rows of one color, and then 2 rows of the next, and 2 rows, and so forth and so on. So as I said, they're both really easy to do and carry around because they're just small. It's really no bigger than making a scarf. So those are super fun. Yeah, I knit this one for my son actually, and he told me that he wished it were a little bit longer. This pattern is called 64 crayons. So super fun, and I have put lots of kits together for that. So that's really good. More Noro. This is called Cavendish, and this is one color of Silk Garden, and you can see how it sort of stripes and repeats. It's fun to knit because it has some texture as well as some color. This is called the Mitered Crosses. This particular sample was knitted by my Ravelry friend Art Lady, and I liked the way she did this. The original pattern has these little corners worked in the same color as the background color, which makes the pattern look like little crosses, which is very pretty, but I kind of like this. In fact, I'll show you, I'm making this one. So I have some of the little squares all here, lots of them sort of put together that I haven't seamed yet, but that is a really fun way to play with Noro, and it can be as bright or as subtle as you like. So I think that's kind of cool. What's next? Pillows. So has anybody ever made a pillow? They are fun and quick. You can change them out, and really any blanket pattern that you like, you can turn into a pillow. So again, Pottery Barn is one of my go-to sites when I'm looking for home deck. This is an example of just really elegant neutrals in the pillows. I think these are really pretty. Look at that cabled pillow, and then they've got like a faux fur on either side. Very clever. I couldn't find a pattern for that one exactly, but it wouldn't be hard to do with some fur reel and some pretty coordinating chunky wool. Very pretty, huh? These pillows, I think, are elegant neutrals, and I think it would be very, very nice. One of the nice things about pillows and blankets both is that, as I said, your gauge doesn't matter. So when I think of elegant neutrals, I think texture, I think creamy colors, cream, gray, taupe, that shows off an intricate cable. But this one is just really, really simple. And what makes it shine is the use of this wide ribbing with a garter in between, and then garter here, and then just fun buttons. I love that. I think that's so pretty, super easy to do. Barbara, you like the mitered crosses blanket? Isn't that pretty? Yeah, I think that's a really nice one. Yes, we will get to a Noro pillow. I have lots of those in there, sweetie pie. So I will show you. Understated solids. Again, we're looking to make things that aren't going to go like crazy out of style. So solids in colors that, that you're going to love for a long time. I think these in this sort of coordinated palette of not so saturated colors is really beautiful. This is a collection called Beaded Cushions by Martin Story. This is a cute little trio, 3 different patterns of cables in 3 different colors. The pattern is called Snap, Crackle, and Pop. I think it's just adorable. And you can use any colors that go in your decor, right? You could do 2 neutrals and a pop, which I think is pretty. I think that's the point of the name of her pattern here. Amelia says she should do a pillow with the mirrored versions of the asymmetrical Celtic knot I designed. Ooh, you should tell us more about the design you did, Amelia. That's fun. Yeah, you should design something. I think we have a whole lot of burgeoning designers here. Thank you. Very cool. So what colors would you do this in? Would you do 2 neutrals? Yeah, a pillow in my future. Absolutely. Aren't they lovely? Thank you. I agree. I agree. One of the things I talk about this a lot when people come in the shop, and the difference between obviously there are a lot of difference between the yarns that you might get at a craft store and the yarns that you get in a yarn store. But one of the differences that people don't really think about or know about so much is that, craft store yarn is craft store colors. When you get a yarn from a yarn store, those yarns and those colors have been very consciously put together for a palette or a range that flows not from like craft colors, school colors and do you know what I'm talking about? More colors that are from that fly from or are derived from the Pantone fashion industry. So you get those colors that influence home deck and fashion and car colors and shoes and all of that whole fashion industry, whether it's fashion for your garments or fashion for your home. And it travels through all of the aspects. So when you're going to knit a cushion or a pillow or a throw or something else for your home, the colors that you're going to get in a yarn store palette are going to be easier to match and more likely to be the colors that you're going to have in your home. Whereas the craft store colors are going to be, bright holly green and bright red and all of those colors that are not as subtle and sophisticated, and they're not necessarily the colors that you would want in your home. Does that make sense? Okay. So I think those understated solids are beautiful too, Barbara. Here's another example. This is the Aran Valley cushion, and this is by Martin Story. This is in the current issue of the Rowan magazine. Same, this braided cable cushion. This is a pattern on Ravelry. I think it's very pretty with this sort of tree thing. Anything that has an organic looking motif on it, I just absolutely love. All right. So sometimes you just want a pop of color, like in this Pottery Barn example, we have red, obviously seasonally because it's coming up on Christmas time. These are very pretty color work. We have a pretty white cable and, some red. So you can see yourself doing that, right? You can see yourself buying that and putting that on your sofa. Why not knit one? Here's an example of some that you absolutely could do with that same red pop. This is part of that collection that Martin Story did. This one has rose on it, but I love the red. This is a reindeer cushion. I think this is the front and this is the back. So super fun. Aren't they beautiful? I love these. I think they are great for Christmas. You get them out, it feels very Christmassy, and then you put them away. Again, that pop of color. This one, I tried to find the picture of the one that Ginny had made. I have it on Instagram. Actually, if you go to my Instagram, you can see Ginny's version that she did. So cute. This is worked with the intarsia technique. I'm pretty sure this is stranded, But again, pop of color. I love this Kiss cushion. I think that would be amazing if you have a walk-in closet that's big enough for a chair. Wouldn't that just be so cute and fun? Or in your, in your bedroom. I love that. Again, if you're going for vibrant, you want playful, and these are some playful pillows. This is one that's worked in a couple colors of Noro Crayon, and these are a collection of striped cushions that Kaffe Fassett did. I think you'll notice that they're called pillows in the US and cushions in Great Britain, which I think is fabulous and fun. Here we have this one again is Kaffe Fassett. If you were to go to any Kaffe Fassett pattern at all and pull a piece of anything at all that he's knit, you could make a pillow out of it, which I think is it's such a low stress way to try different techniques. Same with this entrelac. You might not want to make an entire entrelac Afghan, but a pillow cover? Absolutely. Why not? Too fun. And again, this is a cabled cushion or pillow, and this is worked in Crayon. Hey, Morgan, it's nice to see you. If you have never done cabling before but want to try. Yeah. So, Morgan is asking if you've never done cabling, if a pillow would be a good place to try. Yeah, absolutely. The nice thing about a pillow is that, like a blanket, the gauge doesn't really matter. You just have to be making a fabric that you like. And if you're making a cable and you happen to mess it up, you can always put that part of the pillow behind another part of the pillow or, a different pillow, because chances are you're going to have multiple pillows stacked on your sofa or whatever, and you can just tuck it behind and nobody's going to be staring at it. They're just going to sort of look at the overall effect. I mean, I bet you couldn't identify any particular thing that was on any of that collection of pillows in the Pottery Barn display. You just notice that it's cute and it's fun and it's playful and it looks really good. So absolutely, it would be a really, really good place to learn. Good question, Morgan. Thank you. Yes, I know. Amelia's going to make the purr intarsia pillow. That's going to be so beautiful. I can't wait. I can't remember if this is the cabled pillow that you wanted to make, Rita, but this is one of them that I think is really fun and pretty. These three are by Arne and Carlos. So their stuff tends to be a little more detailed, a little more challenging to knit, but a different look and feel with the multicolors. But again, playful, all the colors, beautiful stuff. And then there are other fun things that you can knit that you probably never thought about. Like, look at this. This is a felted bowl. And felting is when you knit something really big in an all wool yarn and then you shrink it on purpose. And you can just pop a succulent in there. Succulents don't need a whole lot of water. You just sort of water around them a little bit. So she may have a pot in there. I don't know. But I think that's fun. And that would be a great little gift. And you could do that in a playful color, or you could do it in a more subtle home deck kind of color. This is, to me, just amazing. She's knit a little cover for just a plain old vase, one of those vases that you have hanging around in your house because you got a bouquet in it. She's knit a little sleeve for it. This is by Nikki Epstein, which I think is really fun. And then this, also by Arne and Carlos, is a draft catcher. You put that on the at the window if you have any leakage there, and it's just really fun and cute. And that would be a fun way to practice a stranded project. So that's fun. And then, of course, where would we be without looking at tea cozies? This one's an easy one. It's Seed Stitch. That's by Church Mouse. This woman has done an entire collection of tea cozies. I think it's adorable. This looks like a pineapple. And then this one, of course, is in Noro. It's just ribbed. And they don't have to be fancy. They're no harder than a hat with a slit in it. But such a great gift if you know someone who is a tea drinker. I think that is just really, really cute. So that is what I have for you tonight. I could go on and on and on with all of the different throw options and all of the different pillows and whatnot. But I guess the point is that if you are thinking about doing something for your home, decide sort of what your home deck aesthetic is. If you have a white couch and a beige carpet and everything in your house is really beige, you might really love some of those neutrals that kind of fit in there and just go with your neutral aesthetic. You might want a little pop of color. So a pillow is a really low risk, low investment way to add a little bit of color to an otherwise very neutral home environment. If you are very playful, you love color, and the more the better, definitely go for one of those felted tweed pillows or one of the Noro Afghans that's going to give you a really vibrant look. So there's a lot that you can do. And I would love to hear in the comments what appeals to you and what you think you might do when you have a chance to knit something for your home or for a gift for somebody else's home. It's always a nice gift if you can knit something that would please your recipient's home and style. I think that's always important. But anyway, thanks for joining me. I hope everybody has a wonderful Thanksgiving tomorrow, and I look forward to seeing you next week. So until then, good night.